Next, we will review how Avi fits in the VCF cloud models. Again, as we looked at earlier, we have three prescriptive VCF cloud deployment models: hosted private cloud, managed private cloud, and public cloud. Then again, if you have not watched the learning module for VCF solution overview, I highly recommend you review that overview in order to digest this information fully so that it makes sense. This diagram shows hosted private cloud model. Here you see the network design with independent Avi controllers per customer. VCD is not present in this architecture. Each tenant would have Avi controllers deployed for their workload domain, and each tenant would have at least one service engine group dedicated to their workload domain, but it could be multiple service engine groups. You deploy separate Avi controllers to keep consistency across the deployment model. In terms of Avi provider access versus tenant access, you would want to prevent a customer who's consuming hosted private cloud as part of the managed service offering, or even a self-managed offering, from making changes to the controller settings themselves. To protect against such changes, you could consider restricting access to the controller with the use of tenants, and this will be covered in a demo shortly. This diagram shows the hosted private cloud model option 2. This is essentially, again, VCF as a service, where each customer has their own dedicated VCF instance with their own management domain. The Avi controllers are located in separate management domains as opposed to a single shared management domain. And again, each tenant would have at least one dedicated service engine group in their workload domain. This diagram shows hosted private cloud model option 3. The design is a consolidated design where the Avi controllers are installed on the same customer workload domain cluster. And again, this is used when smaller deployments are required, such as a customer only needing 4 or 5 nodes. This diagram shows the managed private cloud model. It is the same as the hosted private cloud model 1 with the addition of VMware Cloud Director. VCD serves as the entry point into the environment for customers. And the best practice in this model is for all the Avi changes for the tenant to be done through VCD at the tenant level. This diagram shows the public cloud model. This model is used by many providers already today who want to deliver shared platform to reduce cost to their customers. In this model, there are shared Avi controllers for the VCF workload domain. And again, the best practice is for Avi changes for the tenant to be done through VCD at the tenant level. In this model, you can use shared service engine groups, or if a customer has a specific need for a dedicated service engine group, that can be done as well, but it will increase the cost for that customer and defeats the purpose of a shared environment. So just something to keep in mind. But generally speaking, you want to stick to shared service engine groups when you can for cost reduction reasons. Here we see the competitive landscape for Avi. The main traditional competitor is F5, which I know many of our CSPs use today. There's also native cloud provider load balancers such as AWS and Azure. There's also open source ones such as Nginx as well.